There we go. All right. So I can get this set up a little bit better. All right. Good evening, everybody. I hope we're all doing well. It has unintentionally been longer than I was expecting it to be, as I was intending to stream on Monday, but unfortunately, the body decided to say, well, you can get everything set up and ready to go, but as soon as you want to go live, you're going to sleep. You're going to just pass out in your chair. So, we're back. We're starting tonight. And we're going to see what winds up going on tonight. So, yeah, welcome in, Raven. It's been a while since you've been here. Yeah, we do, I do painting streams as well. But let's see, we are going to sit back and kind of catch up, because I had a incredibly eventful weekend. In fact, I have a little bit of some of the things that we did over the weekend here on the table with me. But we'll get to that here in just a second. But Pine, wonderful that you've got a 45 watch streak going on. That is insane to me. But I'm so glad that you're here with us tonight. Honey, I'm glad that you're able to join us, and welcome in as well. Raven, it's always good to see you. So, I went to my local Renfaire over the weekend, and I had an absolute blast. If you want to see some of the pictures that I took, unfortunately I can't pull them up for you currently because I'm using my phone as the webcam. But I took a crap ton of pictures. I actually ran into a couple of other content creators while I was out there. And those pictures are up live on my Blue Sky. They're also on my Instagram, which all of that is tagged in my description and whatnot. So if you haven't seen them, by all means, please go take a look at those and enjoy. I have apparently been making quite the rounds on social media, which is weird for me. because of how well the weekend wound up going for us. So we're going to go over. Well, let me actually grab a couple things real quick. Let's see. Okay. I sadly will not be able to grab one of the things that I picked up. Welcome in there, Cozy. I hope you're doing well. But sadly, I will not be able to grab one of the things that I purchased from the Renfaire, as it is currently resting on my altar table. But I was able to acquire a full silver fox pelt that now has a place of honor on my altar table. We also picked up this wonderful thing. So, accidental face cam, but we got ourselves a nice little cavalier hat, complete with gigantic feather, because of course we needed to. Well, thank you for that, Kofi. But another little piece that we got was this beautiful little handmade jewelry. I just absolutely love going out there and just put a face to the voice. That's one way to do it. But yeah, I had a blast. Made a bunch of wonderfully financial smart decisions while we were out at the Ren Fair. But we also did quite a bit of trinket trading. And here is my little trinket haul. And we got ourselves a little potion of gold from a wonderful mushroom cosplayer and her partner, who was also of the Fey Court. This is what I was trinket trading with, was little corvids, keys, and coins. I wound up trading my children for a nice little citrine-looking jewel. We also wound up getting ourselves another little corvid. This one might be a little bit harder to see. Welcome in there, Thunder. Hey, aren't we? Every now and again, you've got to be a little financially irresponsible. We got this little beautiful handmade piece. Oh, everybody had a blast. It was the Gremlins' first ever Ren Fair, and they absolutely had a blast. My son went trinket trading for this because he wanted to give it to me, but it is a it is a fox rubber ducky that somebody made and printed off. I did get a regular rubber ducky as well, and then I mean we had a blast doing trinket trade. Somebody printed off a I'll let you read that, as I won't say that out loud at this time of night where I'm at. But the coin itself is good for one soul, should you encounter the wonderful individual in the Appalachians in the middle of the night. I'm not going to attempt to put that one to the test, though. And of course, we got a little bit of gold from the fair and a glow in the dark. Oop. Doesn't help if I can't hold on to things. A little glow in the dark star. If I can pick it back up. There we go. No summon. No, definitely not going to be attempting to summon that one in the middle of the night. But my other order from my D&D things did come in. No party without the crew. So let's open this up because this will be a untold evil for one of my D&D games that I'll be getting back up and running over the summer. And this one I had to specially order, so this is a special brand of hell or will be a special brand of hell for my players. We have a spider dragon now, and all of its absolute unholy glory, which I know my players are going to absolutely hate. Oh, a little bit more than just very cursed. It requires democracy. Lots of it. But yeah, we are going to have a wonderful time because, as if you remember, we do also have the Deep Dragon prepped for that same party. In all of its cursed glory, as well as the goddess Lolth herself. So yeah, I'm planning for these players to suffer quite a bit. Howard the Duck. That's a name I've not heard in forever. But yeah, we've got quite a bit of fun little evils planned for my players. But for now, we're just going to sit back and relax. And I just kind of enjoy painting up a dice tower that has long been sitting in my pile of shame for way too long. You've got to learn to do so, Thunder, because I also know it's late as hell for you, so I'm surprised you're awake. Is this a sleepless night for you? But what we are building tonight is the Plague Doctor Dice Tower. So we're going to get him painted up. Hunter, you have got to get a better sleeping schedule. So we are going to work on getting that painted up and seeing how it turns out. So as you can see, I've already started on the lantern. And we're going to see how much further we can get with them tonight. So, where did I put... One of these days, Thunder, it's going to wind up biting you in the ass more than you're ever going to expect. I know I'm one to talk as I hardly sleep on my good days as well, but still. But yeah, we're just gonna sit back and vibe to the music and see how much more we can get done on this tonight. But I mean, I we had an absolute blast at the Renfaire. I went with the majority of my one of my D&D games. We took all of our kids with us, and I mean, the kids had an absolute blast. The theatrics of the joust have been greatly increased, which is something I was very, very impressed with. Yeah, well, the problem is, unfortunately, Thunder, as that saying goes, only the good seem to die young. And by that metric, I'm already 3 times immortal over. So I should have probably taken a little bit better care of myself in my youth. But I mean, yeah, they have done quite a bit to make that fair a little bit more than what it used to be. Because even just in the last 3 years, uh, it's been there for over 40 years, and it just keeps getting better and better every time I go. I usually try to get out there at least once a season, but now that they're opening it up for the fall, they just apparently keep selling out in the fall very quickly, which is awesome news. But I did notice that this year they they reduced the day by one, because usually they're open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now they're only open Saturdays and Sundays. But all things considered, the kids made out like bandits. They got some really, really good jewelry themselves. No, 100% fun but expensive. But like I said, if you've seen any of the pictures that I've posted either in the server or on any of my socials, I've this is not the first time I've run into content creators, but this is the first time I've run into content creators that are kind of more specialized in going to the Ren Fair and whatnot, as that is most of what their content is just them having a good time at other Ren Fairs. So it was kind of wild running into them. And even weirder for me because the main one that I knew and recognized him before I recognized the others. I guess he had to have mistaken me for somebody else, because he was like, I could have sworn I've met you before, and because I actually went out with my head over the weekend. Uh, my new fursuit head that Muna, who is the wonderful mask maker, it had shipped into me, and I did a little bit of augmentative painting last week on it, so that it would stand out a little bit more once we got to the fair. I absolutely had a blast running around in partial suit at the fair, and I mean, we had so many people taking pictures, asking for pictures, trinket trading. The kids were having a blast, but then of course I ran into these creators, and I was like, I would have never expected to have run into you guys because ours is considered kind of a small Renfaire. So the fact that, like I said, it's not the first time I've encountered content creators at my fair, but it's jarring every time that I encounter them. Because again, ours is not like a big fair with, massive to do about it, but it is, I would say it would be, I guess, what you would call a medium-sized fair. But I mean, we just absolutely had a blast. So if you haven't seen those, you can check things out on my Instagram at the Old Fox, or you can check them out on the Blue Sky, the same name. I believe it's linked in my bio. I'm not entirely sure, but I mean, we all just had an absolute blast while we were out there. And honestly, I cannot wait to go back. But kind of need to be a hand model. Yeah, okay. I don't think that's going to be all that great, especially considering how damaged my hands actually are. I wouldn't say that you're dumb there, Thunder. You do a whole hell of a lot that requires a good, at least a halfway decent head on your shoulders. I mean, I can give you that. Yeah, fair. But I can't say much better myself either. But we're just going to layer a little bit of orange and yellow here to give that nice fiery oil lamp feeling. But yeah, no, Raven, my hands are horrendously damaged. Without putting them against anything, this is about as good as they get. In terms of just field of movement. That's why most of my streams start with me cracking every bone that I have. It becomes a little bit difficult to move them around terribly much. But that's what, years of doing combat sports will do for you. I've been there, Thunder. I actually where I used to live. There is still a spider web crack in the pavement where I decided to stick my feet in a bicycle spoke while I was still riding my bike. And very, very much is the neighborhood cautionary tale. This is why you wear helmets. Oh, yeah. The amount of head trauma I've had, the amount of broken bones and trauma I've given my hands and my arms is something should be studied. Maybe when my time comes, I'll donate the brain to science so that they can maybe figure out what the hell happened. Where did it go wrong? Point that out and tell me where it went wrong. No, not all of it was self-inflicted. Well, I guess self-inflicted in the sense that I put myself in those situations, but I didn't go out there with the intention of getting CTE. Oh, where the which head injury caused the life to spiral? At what point did the life become what it is now? Ooh. I mean, I will say it does have some unintentional benefits, such as, both of my tattoos, I didn't, well, one of my two tattoos, I didn't feel a whole lot of it. The other tattoo is definitely on an arm that I had more feeling in. I don't think I was dropped on my head at birth, but it wasn't terribly long after, I would assume. I don't know. Memory's kind of fuzzy on that. Alright, so make that ring silver. I mean, for the most part, my memory is fairly good. It's only not so good in terms of remembering minute details from terribly long ago. Unless, of course, it's tied to, one of my, I guess the easiest way to put it is like one of my sleeper agent words that trigger me onto full ADHD autism field rant. Then I apparently can remember everything. The only time I fell off a horse was when I got knocked off of one in a joust. First and last time jousting. No, no, they do not. I also am very weary of putting my life in the hands or hooves of an animal that is as intelligent as a horse, that has enough wherewithal to purposely act on whether or not it's like me as a person. No, 100% Pine. That is a mood right there. That is 110% a mood right there. All right, yeah, I got this. What was it I came in here for? Shit, I don't remember. But a small, unbroken piece of lore from a game I played almost 20 years ago, I can recall and recite, or at the very least, pull an almost Wikipedia detailed page out of nowhere to explain it. I mean, as long as you were having fun, right, Thunder? I mean, I think that goes to everybody who was born before the internet was kind of a mainstream thing. Our ADHD had to manifest itself in very, very different ways. Because, we didn't have a way to just truly overly entertain ourselves other than our own selves. How would you have gotten yourself on the CIA watch list while you were in school? That sounds like a story. Oh? How did you manage that? He's starting to believe. I mean, fair. 9 years ago. Man. Things were very, very different 9 years ago. Though, to be fair, I wouldn't have been able to be doing this 9 years ago, so I'll take it. I mean, if you got into a place you weren't supposed to, yeah, I'd assume that it probably is. Yep, I 100% feel that. I can't talk about anything in front of my phone, or else it immediately will start giving me ads for it. Slight click of recorded buttons. No. Oh, crap. I thought I already had that in here with me. Okay, 1 second. Let me grab my headset. As this one is starting to die. So I thought I already had that in there with me. There we go. Sorry about the noise. There we go. Slowly but surely coming together. The funniest part is, I don't know why I get so wrapped up in doing these tiny, unnecessary little details. Because most people, when they see it all together, thunder, you have got to get your sleep schedule better, man. Especially with everything else that you do. Like, I know the farm is one thing, but I mean, also all the other stuff and all the extra stuff that you do. I mean, good Lord, man, I don't know how I don't know how I function on as little sleep as I get. I can't imagine how you function. Because you get less sleep than I do. I mean, technically you do, considering how much you get done in a day. I mean, I know I'm a massive advocate for, taking naps whenever you get the chance, because I know I do it quite often whenever I get the chance. And ironically, that was the reason Monday's stream got canceled, was I just happened to sit down in my chair to unwind a little bit before stream started. I ate, and I was sitting there listening to Cozy's stream, and then the next thing I know, I woke up and it was like 1:30 in the morning. Had no idea that my body had just given out on me. Hey, don't worry about it there, Cozy. I was having fun watching you play Persona. I just don't remember when I fell asleep. Yeah, you should well, I mean, that is one day. Hopefully you'll have time to rest before that, especially if everybody else is out on vacation. But I mean, even still, 2 weeks before you can officially get any kind of rest is insane. I mean, no, not wrong there, Cozy. Not wrong at all. Oddly thematic, but it works. Because yeah, when I woke up, you had raided off into somebody else, and I was very confused. Well, damn. The life of volunteer work. You don't really get to. You're more voluntold to do things than you are volunteered for. Oh, good lord. You must have done something in a past life there, Thunder. That's the only way that I can understand why you're not getting any rest now. You had to have done something in a past life that warrants the amount of unnecessary shenanigans that you're having to go through. And I don't know if it's the only thing you can feel, as pretty sure you've mentioned before that there are other feelings that you're capable of feeling. No, I mean, I know a set messes with you about a certain protogen, so obviously there's more than just a painful feeling. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily put it as that. Look at it more as it is an ideal, more so than a physical manifestation of anything you could want. That, or, simply put, you can just say it's a type. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's a fairly zen way of looking at it. But I will say you carry it well, though that doesn't mean that it's not heavy. But I mean, even mountains have moments where they falter. Well, even still, Thunder, I just want you to know I do care about you, and I don't want your brain to eat itself, which is what sleep deprivation will do. A man of culture, I hear there, Mr. Raven. No, I understand that completely as well, Thunder, as that definitely is a an issue that I constantly deal with as well, as just overthinking things or being overly cautious in situations that don't necessarily demand that I be like that. But you get hurt enough times, and, well, that's what the brain does to protect you. Well, even if you are hardwired for it, you can update any of that software. It's taken me a long ass time to do it, but small steps are still progress. Then that just means you have to get creative now, doesn't it? No, not necessarily. Welcome in there, Landon. I figured tonight would be a good night to kind of recount and regale all of you with my tales of the Renfaire. But if I am becoming the minis dude, then I will happily accept that responsibility. Because you guys are definitely helping me get through this long list of the pile of shame. So, yeah, if I know the camera doesn't quite fully catch it, but flashbang of a face reveal. We are greatly enjoying the Cavalier hat, as I think it looks fucking dope. We have got a shitload of trinkets that my little ones traded around for, as they got to enjoy their trinket trading. Let's see here. I absolutely love that joke there, Josie. Wow. I was not expecting that kind of a joke, but I am glad that it happened nonetheless. Oh, wow. For those of you who do not know in chat, do not Google. Do not trust Googling any of that. It is better if you were innocent to the point that you don't know, don't attempt to learn. That is, consider that to be eldritch knowledge. It will only make things worse if you try to understand it. Oh, that was actually, that was a fantastic joke. Thank you very much for that, Cozy. Oh, man. The things I was prepared to hear today, that was definitely not on the bingo card. Oh, man. Well, Thunder, I can't necessarily protect you from that because, well, like you, I have unfortunately been a furry on the internet since the internet's inception. So I was doomed from the start. Once the Fallout meme cocks and loads the revolver, the game was rigged from the start. I never had a chance, man. Oh, man. There are just so many directions that could have gone. Well, alrighty then. Moving right along. Yeah. Anybody, well, everybody in here was born in the great before times, where we remember when life was measured in, days and things like that. What do you mean? What do I mean, Thunder? You're at least in your mid-20s, aren't you? Oh, good. I'm sorry, what, Thunder? you. I mean, there you go. God, millennials born this century, just damn it, man. I know why. Why do you think half of my name is all? Why do you think I named myself the Gallic word for old? That was a deliberate choice. Oh, I mean, my beard is getting to be about as long as my hair is now. Ah, the pain. Damn it, Thunder. I was born this century. Damn it. I need a drink after that. Just damn it. I'm just aging more and more. That's vintage to you, young. Oh man. I'll crack something open. That's for damn sure. Oh, cozy, cozy. I still remember my AOL email. I still remember my AIM account name. Fan of classic Impalas. There you go. Hell yeah, Landon. That's how it should be. I mean, ooh, yeah. No, I'm definitely of the persuasion of a classic car now. Well, yes, I'm aware that Impalas are antelopes. No bias, uh huh. Connor, the days of MySpace. Man, we are all just terrible people. All Todd wanted was to have friends, and we all abandoned him for Facebook and all the other social medias as they popped up. Poor Tom. He just wanted friends. That's all he wanted. We all promised him we would be his friend, and then all of a sudden we abandoned him. I hope Tom's doing all right. MySpace was the only social media I had. I remember I went through painstaking detail of setting up my account page and everything, and then I never used it again. Cozy, once again, you're rocking out the hilarious puns, aren't we? Just on a roll tonight, aren't you? Yeah, but eventually we all have to go to the penitentiary if we keep making puns. Don't be like me. Don't boo me. I've seen what makes you clap. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. He's trying to warn you, Thunder. Don't let it devolve any further than what it already has. No, it is not a challenge at all. If we're making it a challenge, then your challenge is to go to sleep and see what a full 8 hours rest will do for you. That's the challenge. Well, maybe you need to go and take a sleep study, get you some good sleep aid. Or at the very least, they can see why your brain is waking you up after 3 hours. I'm just saying, Thunder, a good sleep study with a good doctor can do wonders for you, and being able to do that. Very healthy outside of my lack of sleep. Yeah, but as you get older, you'll find that sleep becomes more of a foundation of everything. You're still young, you're still in your 20s, you can pull this off. Once you start hitting your 30s, you start paying for it if you're not taking care of yourself a little bit better. Well, I'm trying to make sure that you do, Thunder. Because the one thing most people keep not telling each other is that, your 20s are mostly when you kind of figure yourself out. Your 30s are when you can really start to, live and kind of implement a few things for yourself. The wispy ghost. Either that or you're going to wind up acting like a grandpa who can't stay asleep for more than 2 hours at a time because every time he sits down, he goes into a comatose state where he gets like 4 hours of a nap, and then he wakes up to do 1 or 2 more hours worth of other things. Then as soon as you sit back down, you're out again. I mean, it depends on the person, but yeah. I mean, I made plenty of mistakes when I was in my 20s. So did a lot of the people I was around. And now we're just trying to make the best we can for it. But also learn from the mistakes of others around you as well. Because if you can avoid making certain mistakes, by all means do. Some lessons are better learned through others as opposed to learning them yourself. Rated 26. You know, Thunder, every time you say that, all I hear is that reel of the two friends playing Truth or Dare. Hi, man, Truth or Dare? Truth, how many hours have you slept this week? Oh, Dare then. I dare you to go to sleep. I don't like this game. That's what I hear every time I hear you say, take a challenge. Listen to Bob Ross. I am nowhere near as cool as Bob Ross is. Do not put me in the same vein as that man. That man was a saint. I don't think I don't think I quite could pull off a Miss Frizzle. I don't know if it would be a nightmare difficulty, as I'm pretty sure once our resident Hedgie gets better, we could maybe bribe you into getting some sleep. Just happy little accident. But if our, I hate to hear that our Hedgie might be coming down with something. I hope he is getting some good rest and recovers quickly. But yeah, I think maybe I could talk to the Hedgie and get some art bribes. You can bribe the Hedgie first, but all it takes is one DM to, hey, you've got to get Thunder to go to sleep. And then you can give him what he's asking for. There's more than one way to handle that. No, apparently he was saying that right there near the end of stream that he was starting to feel something coming on. So I do hope that he has been got himself an early night tonight, as I do hope he gets to feeling better. Good, he needs to. He doesn't need to force himself to do things, especially if he's not feeling 100%. So I do hope for a quick recovery for him. And hopefully it's just, like a little seasonal allergy or just a little irritation. Well, I mean, he is in a different time zone than I am, so I usually notice he's up fairly late, but I know he also gets some good sleep. Okay, good little base coat going. Probably gonna have to refill this black again. It's like the third time I've had to have done that since I moved all my stuff in here. I just hope he doesn't try and push himself to stream tomorrow if he's not feeling well. I'd rather him take the break to get some rest. If you are here, Aset, get you some good rest. Make sure you drink you some good, like, honey tea or something to help with your throat if it's still giving you problems. And don't make a big fuss about trying to stream tomorrow if you wind up waking up and aren't feeling 100%. We'd rather you get the rest that you need and deserve so that you can get better quickly as opposed to trying to push yourself to do it to only wind up making yourself feel a little worse in the long run. that, that sounds very rich coming from you, Thunder. I mean, technically, yes. I mean, I've had a cold or two cured the good old warm up a shot of whiskey way. But our Hedgie doesn't really drink, so I don't think he'll take the mead approach. I mean, no. Honestly, if he were around here, I would probably offer it to him just to help him get to sleep because I mean I know they're there for a bit, especially when my buddy made his Yule batch. Uh, I got me a bottle of that, and I would take me a nightcap if I wasn't feeling like I was going to go in there and just pass out. And boy, howdy, did it help. Oh yeah, no, tea is great for sleep. I've got several of them here that are fantastic for it. The only problem is I'm usually so exhausted from work that I don't even have the energy to throw it throw a cup of water in the coffee machine just to boil it real quick. And so I usually just wind up passing out or falling out at some point. Big concern. Yeah, I don't know, Cozy. I kind of miss the good old days. Ah, you've the your friend there is morose. He must have ghosts in his blood. You should go do alcohol and cocaine about it. I miss that kind of quack doctory. Nowadays, if you were to do that, that's malpractice. And a felony. But no, back in the day, you could just be like, ah, yes, you have melancholy. I will prescribe you a bump of coke and have a good day. 2 shots of whiskey and call me in the morning. I don't know if you would get if it would be 20 cc's of ground mummy. Oh no, not the mummy madness. I mean, if you had ADHD and that's what your doctor prescribed to you, you would have the most productive morning of your life. Oh man, the mummy madness. That oh, what a time to be alive. Traditional medicine says I should grind up this mummy's hand and take it with a shot of gin. That sounds like sound medical practice. I could. Yeah, just have the woodpecker take care of it. One of the times of all time. Man, those Victorians knew how to party. I'm just saying, they gave us all the best things. They gave us fainting couches. They somehow made deadly disease a part of societal attractiveness, because if people were pale, they were and dying from tuberculosis for whatever reason, that made them more attractive. Being incredibly iron deficient, you invented a whole section of furniture around the house just so that you could lay about dramatically as you were suffering from your horrific iron deficiency. And just, rub some, take this raw chewing tobacco and just rub it on your gums while we're over here giving, amphetamines to children just to treat, simple diseases. Cowboy hats? Well, I mean, most of that was mercury poisoning, wasn't it there, Pine? It's where the old term mad as a hatter came from. Huh. Yeah, the main character of Red Dead Redemption 2, Arthur, he contracted tuberculosis. Yes. Spoiler alert if you haven't played. Sorry about that. Huh. Now, see, I didn't know that. Mercury is great for back pain. It's also great to cause stomach pain, too. But Hydration Nation, everybody. that over there for now. Now, see, I didn't know that, Pine. That that's the story of how we possibly got the wide-brimmed cowboy hat. That's actually kind of dope. But I can understand why wide-brimmed hats were needed out west. Sorry if I ruined your weekend plans of playing Red Dead Redemption, Cozy. My greatest apologies. Welcome in there, Dedrick. I hope you're doing alright. How have things been for our wonderful writing Stormcloud? I really don't know why I am spending so much time trying to paint this when no one is going to actually see this part once it gets glued to the base. I got you. Well, welcome in. We're glad to have you with us. Hopefully, we'll at least make the flight line a little bit less of a pain to sit through. And we're not doing too bad at all. Just kind of reminiscing about the Renfaire I just got back from and working on a dice tower that I've had sitting around for almost 2.5 years now. So I figured a good way to sit back and just kind of talk and not have anything overly stressful on for the day, as it has been. It's already been a week. Today alone felt like it was a week in and of itself. So fun, it's like watching paint dry. I mean, when you put it like that. But yeah, I mean this week has already felt like it's been 2.5 weeks long. You're perfectly fine, Raven. That's actually not a bad joke at all. That's pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, things have been going pretty good. The week has just been creeping by ever so slowly. So hopefully the last 2 days of the week will go by quickly for us all and treat us all well. That way we can get to the weekend and hopefully enjoy some good R&R in some cases. I mean, there you go. Hopefully the night is at least going by fairly well for you there, Raven. Exactly there, Dedrick. I can only hope that it will, and if not, then we've got each other to try and make the best of it. As that's what it's all about. I'm sure I've missed several spots. That's why this is only the first. This is only the first coat. But this one will get hit with a nice blast of the clear coat that I've got once it gets done and glued up. Ooh. It's 4 p.m. Oh, good lord. Yeah, I'm sure you're beyond ready to be done for the done with it there, Dedrick. I would be. Ooh. I haven't done a non-set hour job and ooh. It's been about 13, 14 years now. At least 12. It's been at least 12 years since I've had a job that didn't give me, set hours. And I absolutely hated working the turnaround shifts. Close down one day, open the next. I absolutely hated those. Because you're just barely giving me the legal amount of time to be out of the building before I have to be right back in here. Now, if I was closing down the night before, I would have everything that I needed to ensure opening up the next morning went by as smoothly as possible. But nobody else did that, so eventually they liked putting me on the closing shift even after I told them I would have preferred to have just opened when they finally got around to talking about giving more standardized hours. But that was back in the day when I was, a butcher, and I was working part-time as a butcher and part-time in a warehouse. Then I went full-time in the warehouse and only stuck around the butcher shop until the loan for the house went through. Yeah, that's not too bad. The security job I worked was guaranteed 40 hours a week, so it was, you would just, the schedule they gave me was, I had Thursdays and Fridays off. That was my weekend. But I was also the weekend supervisor, so that was why my days off had to be during the week. When I took the full supervisor position, they cut me down to Mondays and Tuesdays became my off days. That way I could be there towards the end of the week and kind of understand if anything weird was going on, if any maintenance was being done at any of the sites. And, to quote unquote get debriefed about, anything going on within the company. Wasn't a bad job. It was fun while it lasted. It was easy. It was a very easy and very cushy job. That security job was, at least. Made it a lot of fun on the weekends. The weekend crew we got away with murder all the time because we knew our systems didn't work. We knew that nobody was really paying attention to us, so especially when corporate wasn't there during for the weekend. Oh yeah, the weekend crew had so much fun. So many good memories from when I was working security. Some bad ones, but mostly good. Uh-huh. Welcome in, Aset. I hope you have a wonderful night as well. Get you some good rest. I really hope you get to feeling better here soon. I hope that, whatever it is hopefully just like a little seasonal allergy tickle in the back of your throat for a moment. But 60 stream what? Wow, okay. But yeah, you go get you some good rest. Get you some tea if you've got any. Something with honey in it to help your throat. And don't worry about stream tomorrow if you're not feeling up for it. You just get you the rest you need and take it easy. Get you some good rest, Teji. We love you too, man. You just get you some good rest, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Now, this gets to be where the tricky part's going to come in. Now that I've got base and bottom of this painted, how in the hell am I going to paint the top of it? Without changing my... so I'll keep this matte, and then when I hit it with a clear coat, it'll give it its own kind of like glossy finish to it. I'll probably hit this one with the clear enamel, since it'll have, things literally getting bounced around inside of it. So I'll probably spray this one down with the clear enamel coat that I have. So it'll have its own... It'll still look mostly matte, but it will have like a slight gloss sheen to it once it gets hit with that clear coat. Hopefully it'll almost give it a, give the leather of the trench coat that kind of oil look to it. Because ironically, that is one of the reasons why the good doctors were so successful. Was, basic hygiene went a long way when they didn't know what the hell was the problem. Coats in oil. And, since we as a people know that it was the fleas that the mice, the cats, and, the other vermin were running around with that caused the plague, it was the fact that they coated their attire in oil prevented any of the insects from truly jumping onto them and latching on, which protected them unintentionally from the actual cause of the plague. It's a fun little history bite. Yeah, I've seen people do that. I've also seen them do that with like the UV resin, where they'll just kind of use it for droplets and whatnot. Uh, Sadly, I am nowhere near that level, nor do I have the coin to get into like the resin or anything like that. So mostly, what I do is I just pick up minis, statuesques, and things like that to paint. And then slowly but surely, I run through the catalog of what I've got. Now, maybe a little further down the line, maybe I get to the point where I can do something like that. That could be interesting. That's part of the hobby I've not quite broken into yet. I know I've got a buddy of mine who has a 3D printer, and he and I are constantly sending each other like STL files of just cool things that we found, and cool things that we can get the files to. But in terms of like the ability to do so, I don't have a printer. I don't have anything like that. And in terms of just sitting down and creating something, sadly, my forte is I can do that with words. I am a good storyteller. I am not an artist in any sense of the word. And I mean, even these, I just consider this to be more of a. For some reason, I'm halfway decent at this hobby. Not that I'm good at it, I'm just okay enough to. Oh yeah, kiln and clay, or the old pewter figures and stuff like that. Oh yeah, I 100% remember those. But I mean, I'm good at creating something in terms of like the figures that I have painted on past streams. I'm good at taking an idea and already having something as a base to work with. I can create something that way. But in terms of just being like, oh, well, I'm just going to go fire up Blender and a 3D printer and see what I can create, I am absolutely brain dead when it comes to that. That don't do that. I mean, yeah, I can see that. Like, if you were to, well, I mean, perfect example is, here, I do still have a couple of things that I painted myself. Let's see. Like this, the new 2024 Black Dragon. This is my rendition of it. I absolutely love how these creatures look and operate, but, I put my own little twist on it. And I have a blast sitting here painting them. It's just, unfortunately, as a adult with two gremlins of his own, I don't get a whole crap ton of free time, but when I do, I enjoy getting to spend it with my friends, like I'm doing now, and I enjoy just getting some work done if I can get it done. And I mean, you guys, like I said, have really, really helped me clear out a lot of my pile of shame. And I am so thankful for that, and so is my counter space. Because holy crap, I still have a massive pile to get through, but we are slowly making good progress getting through it. Now, I'm still planning on gaming, so we aren't 100% just becoming the mini guy. We're just taking a little break from gaming to kind of catch this up and clean up a little bit before things get started with the house in terms of moving everything around. That way, I have the ability to put a good bit of this stuff up, as opposed to just continuing to leave it around waiting for its turn to get done. This is kind of a way, in my ADHD brain's way, this is a way for me to kind of do a little bit of housekeeping while I get to work on, projects I've let fall a little bit to the wayside. That probably shouldn't have fallen to the wayside for as long as they have. So, little things that I can pull off here and there before everything gets kind of turned upside down when movement is happening. Hey, nothing wrong with that. I mean, even to a somewhat unhealthy amount, I mean, it's still, as long as you're having fun with it, that's that is what makes it worth it. Now, granted, don't let it absorb every bit of your life, but at the same time, you work hard, you pay your bills, you pay your taxes. As long as at the end of the day things are taken care of, enjoy yourself. Treat yourself a little bit here and there. You deserve it. Again, as long as things are taken care of and you're not putting yourself in the hole, then yeah, by all means, just sit back and enjoy it. You deserve to enjoy things. I mean, if life was literally nothing more than just here, let me work, let me, grind for every day of, the rest of my life, like there would be, you're not living. You've got to treat yourself. You've got to keep the whimsy alive in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Now, if that's gaming, awesome. If that's going out with friends, awesome. If that's just doing a project that you've had on your shelf for, way too long, then do it. Do the thing, as I promise you, the sense of accomplishment and everything that you will get from that will be so much better as opposed to you just sitting here wishing you had the time to do it. Now I get it, life gets in the way of a lot of things. And I know that better than most. But at the same time, as long as you're willing to try and put in the effort and just make something exist, whether that just be, hey, this character that I wanted to play on a game, or, this thing that I printed off of or ordered from somewhere else that I really wanted to do, or hey, there's a trip I really want to take. As long as you can swing it. Oh yeah, I mean, that's part of the experience. You can't win them all. You're gonna screw up. You're gonna have those moments where you kind of trip and fall flat on your face. I mean, for instance, like, just a perfect example. I went to AC last year. I had an absolute blast at AC. But it quite literally drained just about everything I had just to go. But I wouldn't change any of that for the world, because I met some of the best people I've ever met at AC. I had a bit of a wonky experience on the way up, but I had a great experience overall. And that was something that, I would have only dreamed of getting to do. But I was able to sit back and be like, okay, if I go ahead and do things now to kind of get everything set up in a way where I'll have the ability to be up there and not have a problem, once I get up there, I'd have a blast. I mean, hell, even going to A&E this year, I met up with some of the same people, and I got to meet even more of the amazing people that I've been sitting here interacting with for almost 2 full years now. And I would not change that experience. Well, I would change the experience that we had at A&E, because the con itself was not handled well. But I wouldn't change the experience I had with my friends at all. We went out, we had some amazing food, we sat back and met some really wild and fun people. And I had my buddy, one of my old military buddies, make the drive all the way up from the south up to Boston for it. It was a wild ride, both there and back. And yeah, it was exhausting. It took a lot out of me. But it was well worth it just for the fact that I got to hang out with the people I wanted to hang out with. And, 5-10 years ago, I would have literally only dreamed of getting to do that. Hell, streaming right now was a pipe dream to me until a little over a year ago. And it's because of, the wonderful people that are here in chat with me now. You guys helped make this little pipe dream a reality. And I will always love you for that, even if it's nothing, even if this doesn't go any further than what it is now. Just the simple fact that I get to sit here and talk shit with my friends late into the night while I paint up a figure, or, when I sit back and play a game. That is awesome as hell to me. And that, to me, that's what it's all about. It's about the ability to just create community, to have and know you've got your tribe of people here with you and willing to have your back through it. So always do the thing. Just make sure that you're okay to be able to do the thing and then do the thing. I mean, I would like to hope that people could dream bigger than just this. Because, I mean, full transparency, I'm not making any money off of doing anything, but I'm not in this to make money off of it. I'm in this to have fun. Now, yeah, eventually I'll get like, $50 or so every 3 to 6 months of streaming or what have you. So, I mean, every, 3 to 6 months, that's, a nice dinner. It's not much, but, hey, it's something. And that's fine for me. Now, would I love for it to become something better so that I didn't have to wake up at, 6 o'clock in the morning and go to a 9 to 5 job? Hell yeah. But that's the only person who can do that is me. That's not on anybody else. And right now, I just don't have a way to schedule being able to do more on this end. Which is fine. Because right now, there's a lot of things going on in the background that are soon going to come into fruition. And once they do, hopefully I'll be able to do a little bit more. But like in terms of going to like conventions, going to fairs, doing the little projects that you shelved in the garage or something years ago. Break that back out. Open that box again. Take a look at it and make some time. Do the thing. I promise you won't regret it. And if you do regret it, try again. Try something a little different. Maybe that project had its time and place, and it's no longer applicable to you anymore. But by all means, go for that. Chase that dream. Because at the end of the day, hey, okay, even if you've got 1,000,005 projects, like half of this table, the half that the camera is pointed away from, is covered in other minis and like terrain pieces and things like that I have had for a while or I have recently acquired. And I should have already gotten most of them painted up. I shouldn't have continued getting more before I finished some of the others. But, ADHD and impulse purchases and like, oh no, I could use this, or hey, a buddy of mine gifted me this. Like, awesome, I'll get this painted up here soon. And then time gets away from you. Like, I get that. No, that's fine. That's part of it. But the longer it sits there, the longer it's going to stare at you. So, I mean, yeah, take the time. Even if it's just a few minutes at a time. Even if it's just a little bit here and there. Give it a little bit of effort. Give it a little bit of time. Give it a little bit of TLC each and every time you sit down at the table for it. And then, bam, before you know it, hey, you've cleared 2-3 projects off your board. Or, hey, you've cleared, that box in the garage that you've let sit there for, 3 to 4 years. You finally went through it and got it taken care of. Like, yeah, it took you forever. Don't hold that against yourself. You still got it done. You still went with it and you still made progress with it. Because, even a little bit of progress is still progress. Oh, brother, I've got, 30 other pieces over here that I need to paint up. And that's just what's on my table. I still have stuff scattered in the living room that I need to grab and clear up, which is about another another 5 or 6 things in there. So I'm still looking at almost 40 pieces that need painted up. So it's taken me forever to get to them, but I'm getting to them slowly but surely now. And the fact that I can literally just stream it while I'm just jamming out to some good music and just talking with you guys makes the project even more fun, because you guys get to see, because instead of just seeing the final product if and when it ever gets done, you guys are actually able to see the process of how I'm going about it and how I am getting it done. Which to me I think is kind of fun. I like seeing, how other people do their projects, because it gives me ideas on, hey, maybe I could do this a little bit better. Or, hey, maybe I next paycheck or something, I should invest in this because it might make things easier for me. Just interesting little things here and there. Gives you a little bit more perspective in some cases. Which is always a good thing. But most importantly, don't let the number of your projects prevent you from getting any of it done. Actively pursue them. Make more if you have to. Even if you don't necessarily have the time now. Just make note. Okay, hey, I have 10 or 12 projects that I need done because I've been letting them sit by the wayside. Okay, cool. You now have a number. All right, a little bit of discipline here. I can't do anything else until I at least complete 1 or 2 of these projects. And always tackle the bigger ones first. Always tackle the more time-consuming and intensive one first. That way, as you go through your list, your smaller, more manageable tasks will quite literally feel like rewards. Like, okay, hey, I got that big ass annoying one done. Now this little project that's only going to take me, like an hour, I'm get it done, and I might even get it done before then. Okay, so, but that's also, a little bit of ADHD issues. Like, yeah, there are some things that need the instant gratification. In that case, start with some of the smaller projects. Do the faster ones first, then. And then you can work up to the bigger one. And be like, okay, hey, this little project of mine that, hyper-focus. Yeah. No, I 100% I get that. But, sit back and, just, okay, hey, this little project of mine that, should have only taken me 1 hour, it wound up taking me 2. Okay, that kind of sucks, but hey, now that little project is done, I can kind of gauge how long it's going to take me to get some of these other projects done. So let's kind of sit back and focus on that, and let's slowly but surely move forward. And like I said, even if you're just doing, hey, let me give, 10, 15 minutes of my time to just start this. Let me get it, let me set things up so that I can start it and I'll start it tomorrow. Do the little things. I mean, hey, 1 day, 3 days, 5 days. I mean, I get it. Hell, the last thing that I finished on stream was a wreath that a friend of mine had asked me to do for them almost 2.5 years ago. I got it done last week. I mean, sometimes, yeah, it takes forever. Way longer than you expect it to. But as long as you're willing to sit back and give it a little bit of work and a little bit of love here and there, you'll get to it. And eventually, with enough time of doing it over and over again, you'll hit where you knock it out of the park for the final time that you need to knock it out. There we go. Do a quick refill here. If they did, that's fine. I mean, this is just people sitting back and talking. That's 90% of the fun of it. If they fell out or if they've just got me on in the background, that's perfectly fine. That's more than I could have asked for. Okay, so I don't think... Yeah, this gray is way past. Nah. If you were hogging the platform, somebody would have said something to you, bud. Let me see if I can grab another gray here. Let's see. I can't tell. Is that gray? Or is that a blue? That's blue. Let's see. That should be it. Try not to knock everything off my desk in the process. Okay. There we are. Okay. Good. That will be 2 fresh gray colors. No, not typically. There are a couple of times where I will dry brush a couple of things, but for the most part, especially since I am partially colorblind and don't see colors all that well, I will mostly just kind of layer paints until I'm happy with them. And then I'll go back over and do, touch-ups or things like that if I feel that they need it. I am basically as basic and bare bones as one could be in this hobby. I'm just a guy with a paintbrush. And I paint until I am happy with the outcome. Now, a lot of times that does mean that I could, by all means, but like a lot of times I just have to, because I also failed every art class that I've ever been a part of. I don't fully see the color spectrum, and I do not understand color theory very well, because obviously being partially blind to it makes it a little bit harder to understand. But again, this is what happens when you keep suffering head trauma over and over and over again. But I am able to layer paint, and typically I have to have a little bit of assistance in identifying certain colors. Now, red is one of the ones that I can see very clearly. It's mostly yellows and certain blues and whites that give me problems. So I'm not fully colorblind, but I do know that it is getting worse. But yes, if I don't quite have the help or understanding of what I'm looking at, yeah, I will come out with some wacky and wild looking colored creatures. I can tell already that this is going to require at least 2 coats of this gray, because the black that I use makes for an absolutely wonderful base coat, However, it is also incredibly uh, potent, I guess is the word to use. So it will bleed through a lot of the lighter based colors. So a lot of my, because I don't use any of like any specific techniques or anything or any overly specialized tools, I wind up just having to layer paint back and forth over and over on top of each other. Okay, I'll keep an eye out for that. Oh, we had time. Not too bad. All right. Okay, on YouTube. Okay, I'll see if I can take a look. If nothing else, that'll be something decent enough to listen to while I'm running through at work. There's several of them that I miss that are sadly just, unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, and some good things far sooner than others, and I do hate that. Chris Farley was definitely one of them. Robin Williams was one of the ones that hit me the hardest. Yep, Carlin was a good one. There were so many greats that we've just slowly but surely lost, and really out of all of them that are still around, they're slowly starting to fall away now too, and it terrifies me because and just there's so many different perspectives that we've just either ignored or written off. Pryor was one of the better ones. I know one that will mess me up when it happens will be If Billy Connolly goes, that's just gonna mess me up for a good few days. But sadly, nothing lasts forever. But that doesn't mean that it's always a bad thing. How's that old saying go? Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. Yeah, no, Betty White was that for me. I was not expecting to hear about her passing at all. That woman was supposed to outlive everybody. Ozzy, I hate that he went the way that he did because I knew he was in pain and was constantly in pain because of what he had tried to do to regulate some of, you know, his degradation. And I hate that that things didn't go the way that they should have. But, I mean, he was... Oh, yeah, like, Robin Williams, I think, hurts still just because he was such an iconic part of so many different people's lives. And he was a wildly varied actor. He was in so many different things. It's kind of like Steve Irwin. Like, even after he passed, it didn't seem real. It didn't seem like he was gone. Yep, Morgan Mindy. But I mean, like, I still watch Robin's comedy specials. I still watch a lot of his movies because he was just a phenomenal actor. Same with, Billy Connolly, Betty White, they had such wonderful range in their roles that it doesn't necessarily feel like they're gone as long as you keep watching, right? And I mean, thankfully we live in a day and age where I can just boot up, any of Robin's old comedy specials and watch them. I can just sit down with my gremlins and watch Mrs. Doubtfire or, Fern Gully or, Jumanji, any of the, great movies, Aladdin, like any of those. And I never have to go without hearing Robin. But at the same time, in a way, it makes it almost more poignant that he left behind such a wonderful legacy. And so did so many of these wonderful, great, and talented people. Like, they left behind something that still sticks, that still has bite today. Now, see, I'm a little weary about how AI is going in that direction. Because for some people, that's, if they've given, hey, yeah, go ahead, you can keep using, my likeness and my voice, that's fine because they actively made that decision. But for those who don't get to make that decision or are no longer here to make that decision, I feel like it's kind of scummy in a certain way, because then that just makes it to where, somebody other than them and their loved ones are profiting off of their likeness and who they were. So I'm a little weary about that. Yeah, kind of. But I mean, it's just like, hey, if they gave, permission for their likeness to be used, then yeah, okay, by all means, go for it. But if they didn't consent for you to, run their likeness in any shape, form, or fashion, or use their voice after they were gone, and people are still doing it, I see that as just very disrespectful to the person. And to, their family, because now, like, I mean, in a way, I guess, like, the way I can put it in perspective, I lost my uncle earlier this year. And I really hate that I didn't get the chance to, go up there and see him, but I am happy that I can remember him for who he was. But in the sense, if, like one of my family members had gone up there and gotten a voice recording of him, talking to me, that would be an incredible thing for me to have and hold on to. But if, like, 3 weeks later, somebody online just randomly sent me a message because they knew my uncle and they sampled his voice 150,000 times to create a weird sounding AI version of him, I don't think I would be very happy receiving that. I think I would be relatively irritated that someone would do something like that. Because, you didn't know him like I knew him, so whatever you sent isn't going to sound like who he was. So, I mean, that's kind of how I have to look at it. Now, if, like, 10 years down the line, we find, like, a letter where he's, stating that it's okay for us to do something like that, to kind of recreate his voice so that he can read the letter to us, yeah, that's different. Yeah, kind of like digital Ouija. It's weird. Like, I don't quite know how I feel about it, because, again, that's not something that I would want to think about. Like, if someone I care for is no longer with me, and then all of a sudden somebody shows up with a weird digitized voice of them, it's gonna be weird. And I'm not going to be overly happy with them, touting it as, oh, this is him. This is, you can have this however you want it. No, man, I'd like to remember him as he was, not what he sounded like run through an answering machine 50,000 times. But I mean that's just me. I prefer, I prefer actually putting in the work to get something. Yeah, because again, we've already seen it in action where people make videos of people saying shit that's just wild that they've never said in their entire life, and they're trying to pass it off as truth. Shit like that already happens, and the problem is the technology is only going to get better, so thus it's going to become more and more difficult to kind of piece together what's actually real and what's not. And that bothers me on a fundamental level of just like, why? why go through the trouble of all the unnecessary shenanigans of doing this shit when you could just have it out with the person that you have a problem with instead of digitizing their voice to try and screw them over. Now, like something like that, like you're taking a picture and essentially turning it into a GIF. Like that, I don't see anything bad about that. Because, again, you're using that as like a sentimental thing for you. Like, I don't see that as necessarily something bad, because again, like that is a sentimental thing, and that's also like that's a memory that you essentially are recreating for yourself. Like that's not a bad thing. Like yeah, like something like that. That is, to me, that's fine. That is a quote unquote ethical and good way to use AI. Is you use it to do something with heart, as opposed to using it for, something unnecessary or even nefarious. You literally used it in a way to make those around you smile. You used it in a way to essentially bring a memory that no longer could exist back into reality. And that, to me, is, in my opinion, that's what the technology should be used for. Like, there is absolutely no reason to use the technology to do anything, else in that manner. And hey, I'm glad it worked. I'm glad that it turned out in a good way like that. Because to me, memories and stuff like that you can kind of bring back, and like digital restoration, like stuff like that is perfect. Like I love seeing, people using the technology to do that, to bring back something that was almost lost or that was lost back into the forefront of how things should be. Like, to me, that is beautiful. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's the thing, is like, someone like me who I'm basically technologically brain dead, for lack of a better word. I, one of my brothers plays with, like AI art apps for his D&D character, which I do and don't find to be a bad thing. I do in the sense that the AI has essentially learned how to do its art by ripping off other artists, and I hate that because that is 100%, that's just theft. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is taking, you are not inputting something into it to create something like in your case. You inputted a photo, something that you already had into it to get it to create something that still had something to do with that photo. Whereas my brother will just like type in, oh, I would like to see, Hank Hill as a paladin from D&D. And then all of a sudden I have a somewhat humanoid rendering of Hank Hill in medieval armor. Like, yeah, it's funny for the joke. It's like, haha, that's great. It's cool that you can do that, but at the same time, like, how did it generate this artwork that is so close to Hank Hill when I'm pretty sure Mike Judge and the artists who work on that show weren't willingly, giving their artwork to this AI program. So I'm very weird when it comes to the topic of AI because I do see how it can be a useful tool. Yeah, like things like that. That's weird to me because that means that literally all of those pictures that are posted are being fed into something that I may not agree with. Because now all those pictures that, you uploaded can be regurgitated into, all of these different AI programs, and now you technically can be used as a template in these AI programs. Like, that bothers me, because then that means if somebody with enough time, spite, and effort could go out of their way to try and ruin your life by doing, essentially just AI deepfakes of you doing, stupid or heinous or random shit. And I mean, hell, we've already seen that happening, all over the place. And like I said, the technology is only ever going to be this bad right now. It's only ever going to get better. I mean, even if it was a repost of like the AI itself just took a bunch of your pictures and basically made a collage of them, the fact remains that it's still, shanghaied your stuff and then ran it through its programs. Welcome back there, Dedrick. I hope things have either come to a good closing, or if they've, or at the very least, that work is over for you by now. I very much hope so for you. Whew, Raven, 5 more hours, man. Okay, you've almost got it. You're getting there. The horrors persist. Yep, I 100% know how that goes. Hopefully, you guys will be able to wrap up here soon, though, because I know I've been tired from my job. Hell, I was tired when I woke up. And once we get done here, I'm going to be trying to get in bed to rest before I go right back in. I can agree with that feeling 100%. I 100% understand and hate that I'm tired of this, Grandpa, but I fully understand that it's too damn bad. Oh yeah, we had a nice little bit of rain come our way, so I can hear the frogs that are hanging around in the trees and in the neighborhoods and in the drainage ditches. It's kind of a nice, peaceful little trill, though. It lets me know that it's summer. Or at the very least, that summer is very fast approaching. There you go. I mean, hey, whatever helps get through the end of the night. Because I very much so remember my long, unnecessary nights working splits between second and third shift. By the time that time to go home hit, it was I moved like I was late for being at the house. No, that's 100% fair there, Dedrick. Because I will admit it does make it sound like you're in the deep countryside or whatnot when the sounds of nature are just constantly screaming at you even in the middle of the night. I know when I did one of my security jobs, they had me outside on one of the locations, and man, especially during the summer, You could barely hear your own thoughts with all the frogs and the crickets and everything that were going off. It was nice. I really kind of missed that one. I don't miss the company that I work for, but I do kind of miss being out on that one, on that post, as it was just really nice because you could really just kind of disconnect from the world for a few hours, even while you were out there. At least until the spiders on the canopies would start moving, and then it looked like like you were an extra in Mirkwood Forest, and that had its own connotations to it. But man, did I have an absolute blast while I was out there. Good times, good times. Feels like it was a damn lifetime ago now, but still good times. For what it was worth, it was still good times. Alright, we'll let you dry. You're definitely going to need another round of black. Oh, the music that's going on. Unfortunately, if I don't mute the stream myself, you guys will just be constantly hit with me double talking. So I know the playlist that I've thrown on there, I just don't know where you're at in the playlist. So I can't necessarily hear what it is that you're jamming out to. Oh, I can imagine that the breeze feels pretty good out there right now. Hey, I'll take it. I do enjoy my, good bardcore sounding music. And considering, this stream I started talking about, my experience at my local Renfaire. Fair music seems pretty fitting. Well, I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Hell yeah, bardcore. Let's see, I've got a couple ideas that I want to do for the eyes up here. Let's see if I can get enough silver here to actually make it look good, because this black that I use is a little oppressive in terms of letting other color bleed through it. So that means it'll probably have to be a couple of coats. But that'll be fine. Sounds like a good night to me. If that's what you're hearing. Okay. Let's see. Add a little silver here. Again, I don't understand why I'm putting so much detail into some of these spots when I know for damn sure they're never going to be seen. Just in case, because I'll know. I'll know that it's there. That's what makes it cooler, is that I know that it's there. Okay, hell yeah, Dedrick. Which of the hammers dost thou war? What is your favorite unit to run with? Hell yeah, man. A hurdy-gurdy? That would be fucking dope. Blood Angels, okay. I can't blame you there. As ultimately Sanguinius was, was literally one of the best boys ever made. And Night Lords, there you go. Hey man, that's a great start, and it's a fun bonding exercise for you and your daughter there, Raven. Because she's always going to remember that. So the Night Lords are probably my favorite, quote-unquote, chaos or traitor faction. You can't ever go wrong with good old Vlad the Impaler's terror tactics. I would say that probably my favorite loyalist group to go with is Space Wolves and the White Scars. And then the Death Corps of Krieg is my favorite Astra Militarum. I just think they're neat. Okay, that's the one I need to throw away. Okay, hold on. Because that is going to go on way too dark. So let's drop another color, and then we'll go back over it once that dries. And also that should make that green pop way more. Oh, you've never played D&D? Okay. I would highly recommend it if you ever get the chance to, Raven. But Dedrick was describing the Warhammer 40K. Because I know for me, I mostly play D&D. And I have way too many damn things on my plate for D&D. I don't know if I've ever heard them described as that. They're Dedrick. That is that is a very interesting way to describe them. I've only ever heard them, described as the hilarious edge lords that don't do well in open combat because they're meant to be a terror unit, not so much a frontline fighting unit, at least lore wise. Okay, Hellfire shirts. Now, see, I'm not overly familiar. Oh, wait, that's the Hellfire Club. That's the Stranger Things reference, if I'm not mistaken. Which I very easily could be because I don't watch Stranger Things either. That was more of my ex-wife who got into that. I'm very weird when it comes to getting into certain media. When it's overly popular, I will avoid it like the plague, just because I get tired of hearing about it. But when nobody really knows about a thing, I will get into it like there is no tomorrow. And then when, years later it winds up becoming popular, people are just like, oh, wow, you must, you really like this, since it's so brand new. And no, bro, I was in the trenches with this before it was popular. And I hate that because I hate feeling like a hipster about it. And I'm just like, no, man, the book is 20 something years old. I like to read. I was excited when they announced that it would be getting a, thing. I absolutely love Viva La Dirt. Those guys are hilarious. I mean, yeah, they're very bright blue and they've got just splashes of red on them. So I mean, I guess when you point it out like that, okay, I could maybe see it that way. They're also the ones with the overly fanciful helmet accessories. So okay, yeah, I think I can see what you're talking about there. Because yeah, their armor is a very pretty blue, but it's not ultramarine blue. So that they got to stand out. It's Night Lord blue, and then contrasted with the bright red and the white markings. Okay, yeah, no, I could, and the lightning, motif that goes with that. Yeah, no, I can kind of see that. I don't think I've seen that artwork of Kerr's that makes him look more feminine. Okay, interesting. I'll have to go looking for that because most of the artwork I've ever seen of him has always been, that sweet, sweet edge. And hey, there's nothing to worry about there, Raven. It's a specific unit from Warhammer. They're a quote unquote traitor legion known as the Night Lords. Yeah, I've definitely seen them more portrayed in the edgy light, and not necessarily in the more feminine role. That that actually makes it even more hilarious in more ways than one. All right, we'll look at that white dry. I guess that'll wind up turning into a fantastic contrast when I add that green to it. Now let's see if we can get. And Dad's the best. Yeah, no, that's definitely not far from the truth. I don't know oh, what crap. The con is not terrible, Dad. They literally just made Genghis Khan a space marine, but I mean, they are until they hit the Black Rage and everybody starts looking like a snack. Yeah, Warhammer is such a fun series to look into because the lore for it is hilarious and wild as hell. But honestly, I think part of that is the appeal, is that the lore is just hilarious. Have they finally allowed the Khan to return and they've just turned him into a monster now? I'm not fully up to date. I know we just got the lion coming. The lion came back. I'm not sure. I know Perturabo is coming back, which to me is at least a little bit better than Fulgrim. Not by much, but something better than nothing. But I am hoping that Jagatai will come back soon. Him and Lehman would. I think him and Lehman could do a lot of good if they were to come back into the setting. Okay. So, yeah, basically you're not wrong on that there, Raven. That essentially Conrad Kurz and Night Lords are basically what happens if you take Batman and Vlad the Impaler and you mix them together. Oh, really? That's dope. See, the more I learned. I had no idea that that was a thing anymore. So you've got someone who can move through the dead of night incredibly quietly, overly brutal and effective at getting rid of, what they perceive as crime and or, sedition to the Imperium. No. So Warhammer 40K, takes place in the far-flung future. But yeah, the best way to equate it is Conrad Kurz was Batman if he grew up under Vlad the Impaler. And his entire, combat unit operates kind of on that same idea that, if we scare the shit out of the population, we don't have to nuke the entire planet. So at least while they were loyalists, they were highly effective because if a planet found out that they were being deployed against them, the planet would very, very quickly surrender because they didn't want to deal with what the Night Lords would bring to the table. God forbid if Kurz himself was deployed to the planet, because then, yeah, that there wasn't much that was going to help you in that case. You were just screwed. Oh, well, I mean, to be fair, Dedrick, they were never meant to play fair. Their designation was just they're a terror unit. They fight dirty, they attack from the shadows, they lay in wait and ambush. So yeah, in an open field, they're cowardly because they're not meant to be utilized as like an open field unit. They're hit and run tactics, or abduct you in the middle of the night and then play your screams over the Vox radio to break the will and morale of the rest of your troops. Like, they're not meant to be frontline fighters, and those of them that are usually are either legendary or they are just basically idiots who don't last very long. No, you're fine there, Dedrick. I agree with you. They're never. I agree that they're cheeky little bastards, but they kind of have to be, because they weren't ever meant to be what they become. Especially since Kurz is nobody. Kurz is no longer around to try to guide them, because he was too busy trying to send a middle finger to the Emperor to prove that he was right, to actually take responsibility for his own actions. Yeah, you would get played over the Vox channels for hours on end if the Night Lords got a hold of you. Kurz was fantastic at making examples. But, to be fair, again, in terms of success rates, the Night Lords did take a hell of a lot more planets intact than any other unit, because every other unit was just bombarding the hell out of wherever they were fighting. When all comes down to the end, the Night Lords were great at taking a planet with minimal destruction to the infrastructure of said planet. But again, it's because they're designed as a terror unit that's meant to just scare the shit out of people until they're compliant.